couple of the teams that Oklahoma may not have to worry about as far as the college football playoff is concerned, and maybe even positioning. A lot of coaching changes happening. Let's discuss coming up next on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, the coaching carousel is not through. Lane Kiffin's gone. That may affect Ole Miss and how they're looked at upon in the College Football Playoff Committee rankings, especially because the staff is basically gone as well. But BYU, a team that is about to play for the Big 12 title this Saturday, may be losing Kalani Sitake to Penn State.
Whew.
Wow. That one shocks me. I thought he was a lifer.
I mean, he's a BYU alum, so that you would think that he was a lifer, but obviously him, similar to Lane Kiffin, doesn't believe that his team is capable of winning a national championship. So when people get mad at Oklahoma for being in the playoffs potentially over BYU, they probably should go look at their coach and ask him the questions of why he's entertaining other jobs when he has a team that should be playoff caliber, right? They're going to play in the Big 12 championship against Texas Tech. That's going to be a good litmus test for them. If they pull that out, they're guaranteed a spot. Now this distraction is in place, could hurt them. And as we're talking about these playoff stuff, you got that. And everybody's now discussing what's going to happen with Ole Miss. Lane's gone. He took half the analyst staff with some random people. And because of that, and his offensive coordinator, the question is, that high-octane offense no longer has the head coach that's the offensive guy or the offensive coordinator that occasionally got to call plays. What to do with them? People are now saying that they believe the committee's going to drop them. What does that do? It benefits Oklahoma because they're going to drop them. They'll probably drop them below, probably closer to 10. That means Oklahoma moves up. If they play this the way that we think they will. Because I think they're going to try to find a way to get Ole Miss out and possibly swap them with BYU.
It's certainly possible. I mean, there's so much that could change. I don't think Oklahoma is in any danger of dropping out, but there's certainly potential that they could move up. You know, if Texas Tech loses, if they think that Ole Miss isn't going to be the same team without Lane Kiffin and that offensive staff and the strength and conditioning staff, if they think that the coaching change is going to be too much for Ole Miss to overcome, they could fall back to like a 10 or 11, meaning Oklahoma could climb as high as like 6. Who knows? I mean, there's potential for that. And again, you look at these teams and with the precedent that they set with Florida State after the Jordan Travis injury a few years back, there's certainly something to be said for the committee dropping Ole Miss. Now that sucks for the players. That really does. That sucks for Pete Golding. None of them deserve to be dropped because Lane Kiffin's selfishness. But it's a real possibility.
It's a very big possibility. It would suck for them. And, I mean, the committee has put together a precedent of, you know, specific circumstances does determine if, you know, if they should take a team out based upon things outside of the field. So coaching changes, players being hurt, a nuclear bomb going off at the stadium, whatever. There's all kinds of random stuff they have, right? You know, the cooties floating around, everybody's getting sick. I don't know. There's so many different things they're going to use to measure this, and it's kind of ridiculous if you really think about it. I don't think it's fair to these players to be punished because their coach was selfish and decided to leave.
Right.
Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't think Lane should be coaching this team to the playoffs while leaving to coach the team that he's going to be to leave and go to another team in which he's going to be coaching that team against this team next year, actually the next 4 years, because they're on the rivalry list. So, no, you shouldn't do that. To me, is if Lane wanted to coach this team to potentially a championship, he just should have stayed and coached them to the championship.
Yep.
Why not?
He should have made everybody wait.
Yep.
You want my services? I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait until after we're done with the playoff. Lane Kiffin was in that much demand that he could have told LSU and Florida, wait, if you really want me, you'll wait.
Hit me up February 1st. Yep. I'll be ready.
Dude, hit me up as soon as the clock strikes 0 on our season.
Yep. Once I win my title, feel free.
But he can't do that. He doesn't have it in him to not be the capitalist in this situation and take advantage of his opportunity. He wants to throw all the shade at the Ole Miss administration for not letting him coach. Dude, you had a choice. You had a choice, and you made a choice. I'm sorry that there are repercussions. I'm sorry that you have consequences that you have to deal with for the choices that you made. But again, as much as it would benefit Oklahoma, and I'd love to see Oklahoma maybe play Virginia or James Madison or North Texas in the first round of the playoff, I still don't think it would be right for Ole Miss to drop significantly just because Lane Kiffin left.
Yep.
And I know that that's not the fan thing to do, but to me that's the right response.
Yes.
To all of this.
I 100% agree. It's
because those players earned their spot.
They did.
Where it is now.
They did. They 100% did. And there's no reason that they should be punished for this circumstance. But, hey, there's a good chance they will be. Now, they did keep their DC.
Yeah.
So that's something that will help them potentially. But all in all, though, John, it's I don't know.
Bro.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
I totally agree with the people that think that the college football calendar needs to change because some of this
the calendar's a problem.
The conferences need to step in and provide some like anti-tampering rules like the NFL has. You know, you can't just go talk to another team's coach without permission. You know, generally those clubs will grant permission for their assistants and their coordinators and their head coaches to go talk to other teams, but sometimes they don't grant permission. But these conferences and the teams need to have some of this in place as well. Like, you can't come talk to our guys unless we say it's okay. And I'm sorry, the agents are an extension of your guy. You can't go talk to their agents unless we say it's okay. That's where some of this needs to happen. We need to have some of these guardrails in place. To me, some of this goes back to what Brent Venables says at the end of each game or in press conferences. And he says, it's the players that are out there making the plays. We didn't make a tackle. Us coaches didn't make a block. Us coaches didn't make a catch. It's the players. And I think that's where college football needs to get back to. For so long, it's been about these big personalities, the Nick Sabans, the Kirby Smarts, the Lane Kiffins. They've been the figureheads of college football, the Bob Stoops, Bud, Barry, whatever. But it's a player's game. And the players drive the sport way more than the coaches do, because the coaches aren't out there doing the things that Trinidad Chambliss does that we got to see firsthand in Norman. That dude is a baller. And to punish him because of Lane Kiffin is just wrong to me. And to punish BYU because Kalani Sitake is entertaining offers to go to Penn State because the AD out there is crazy to let Kalani Sitake even think about going. It's just nuts to me, dude.
It's all a ginormous circus right now. And I just can't believe that it's the calendar's the problem. And I agree. Mm-hmm. And it's just funny to me that these two coaches feel like they can't win titles at their current school. That's basically what they're saying. They're 100% saying, yeah, we can't win here. And so we're going to leave right before you have a chance to go play in the playoffs.
So crazy.
It is wild to me that is the mindset. But, hey, the game's the game.
Yeah, hey, shout out to Lincoln Riley for tanking Bedlam 2021 so that he didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's true.
Think
about it.
For all the negative thoughts, and at least we didn't have to worry about Lincoln Riley leaving as we got ready to go play in the Big 12 championship and potentially the college football playoff. So there's that. Anyway, no, just kidding. Hate that guy. But coming up, the Oklahoma Sooners are on a heater on the recruiting trail in both the 2026 and 2027 classes. We'll discuss here on Locked On Sooners.